Miyamoto Musashi is widely considered one of Japan's most formidable swordsmen and a distinguished warrior of the early Edo period. Many people think Musashi was an honorable warrior, but in reality, Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, never fought honorably in his duels. Nonetheless, Musashi is reputed for his profound ideas on martial arts training, strategy, the arts, and his sword mastery. Miyamoto Musashi's early life is somewhat shrouded in mystery, but it is known that he fought his first duel at the age of 13, defeating an experienced samurai named Arima Kihei. This victory marked the beginning of his legendary dueling career. Musashi spent his youth traveling extensively, engaging in duels with various swordsmen across Japan. By his early 20s, he had already established a reputation as a formidable duelist, going undefeated in over 60 recorded duels. Musashi's mastery of the sword is most famously encapsulated in his personal development of the Niten Ichi-ryu, two heavens as one style, a unique and innovative form of kenjutsu, swordsmanship, that employs both the katana, long sword, and the wakizashi, short sword, simultaneously. This dual-wielding technique set him apart from other swordsmen of his time, allowing for versatile and unpredictable combat strategies. Beyond his unparalleled swordsmanship, Musashi was a genius, excelling in various disciplines. He was a skilled artist, producing works of ink painting, sumie, and calligraphy that are still highly regarded. He also practiced wood carving and sculpting, creating pieces that demonstrated his keen eye for form and detail. His works often reflect Zen Buddhist themes and the warrior spirit. Musashi also wrote poems encapsulating his philosophical insights and reflections on life and combat. Lastly, he would contribute to the design of the Regando Cave in Kumamoto, where he spent his later years meditating and writing. The common perception of Miyamoto Musashi as an honorable warrior is deeply ingrained in both Japanese culture and global admiration for the samurai ethos. Musashi is often idealized as a paragon of the samurai virtues: honor, self-discipline, and indomitable spirit. His victories in numerous duels and his profound contributions to martial arts and samurai culture through works like The Book of Five Rings reinforce this image. However, a closer examination of his life in duels reveals a different side to Musashi. Before he was a revered warrior philosopher, he was a violent youth who would do whatever was necessary to achieve victory. Musashi's early life was marked by turbulence and a relentless pursuit of martial prowess. Historical records and legends depict him as a fierce and ruthless fighter. By the age of 13, he had already engaged in and won his first duel, which set the stage for a career characterized by numerous lethal encounters. During his early years, Musashi was known for his aggressive tactics and unorthodox fighting methods. He often fought with a wooden sword, boken, instead of a steel katana, not only to demonstrate his skill, but also to psychologically unnerve his opponents. Musashi's approach to combat in his youth was practical and, by modern standards, could be seen as brutal. He was not above using psychological tactics to gain an advantage. Miyamoto Musashi's approach to fighting significantly challenges the traditional view of honor in samurai culture, emphasizing practicality and adaptability over rigid adherence to Bushido, the samurai code of conduct. While Bushido idealized fairness, respect, and honor in battle, Musashi's tactics prioritized effectiveness and survival, sometimes at the expense of these traditional values. Musashi's legendary duels showcase his unconventional methods. Historical accounts and anecdotes about Miyamoto Musashi reveal a complex figure whose tactics were often unconventional and, at times, not bound by traditional notions of honor. These stories highlight his strategic ingenuity, willingness to exploit psychological advantages, and a practical approach to combat, which sometimes clashed with the more rigid samurai code of conduct. Bushido, that emphasized honor and fair play. One of the most famous anecdotes illustrating Musashi's unconventional tactics is his duel with Sasaki Kojiro on Ganryojima Island in 1612. Musashi intentionally arrived late, rowing to the island with a wooden sword carved from an oar. His late arrival was a calculated move to unsettle Kojiro, who is renowned for his expertise with the nodachi, a long Japanese sword. The delay caused Kojiro to lose his composure, and the unconventional wooden sword added an element of surprise. Musashi's strategy worked. He swiftly defeated Kojiro, striking him down with a single blow. This incident showcases Musashi's psychological manipulation and readiness to use unorthodox methods to gain an edge over his opponent. Another account of Musashi's unorthodox methods is his early duel against Arima Kihei, a skilled swordsman from the Shinto Ryu school. At the age of 13, Musashi challenged Kihei and, according to legend, disarmed and killed him with a wooden sword. This victory was attributed to Musashi's raw strength and audacity rather than traditional technique. The brutality and decisiveness of this encounter marked Musashi as a formidable and unpredictable combatant from a young age. One pivotal moment in Miyamoto Musashi's life that vividly illustrates his unconventional methods and disregard for traditional notions of honor is his duel against the Yoshioka clan in Kyoto. This encounter is particularly significant because it demonstrates Musashi's willingness to break the rigid codes of Bushido to achieve victory. After defeating Yoshioka Seijiro and Yoshioka Denshichiro, the Yoshioka clan, determined to restore their honor, planned an ambush to kill Musashi. They arranged a duel with Yoshioka Matashichiro, a boy who was next in line to lead the family, intending to trap Musashi with a large number of armed retainers. Understanding the imminent threat and the dishonorable intentions of the Yoshioka clan, Musashi decided to preempt their ambush with a surprise attack of his own. On the night before the duel, he arrived at the arranged site, Ichijoji Temple, early and concealed himself as dawn broke and the Yoshioka retainers gathered. Musashi emerged from hiding and struck swiftly, killing Matashichiro and several of his retainers in a chaotic skirmish. This decisive preemptive strike starkly contrasts with the traditional samurai spirit, which emphasized fairness and honor in combat. According to Bushido, samurai were expected to face their opponents openly and with respect, adhering to a code that valued honor as highly as victory. Musashi's tactics, however, prioritized survival and effectiveness over adherence to these formalities. Musashi's actions in the Ichijoji Temple incident reflect his deep understanding of strategy and his pragmatic approach to conflict. He recognized that adhering to the formalities of Bushido would likely lead to his death in an unfair fight. By acting preemptively, he not only ensured his survival, but also decisively ended the threat posed by the Yoshioka clan. The pivotal moment in Musashi's life is symbolic of his broader approach to combat. It highlights his belief that his mastery of the sword involved more than just physical skill. It required strategic ingenuity, psychological acumen, and a willingness to adapt to the realities of each situation, even if that meant breaking honorable traditions. In the aftermath of this incident, Musashi's reputation as an invincible and unpredictable swordsman grew. His later life and writings, particularly the Book of Five Rings, further elaborated on his strategic philosophy, which often challenged the conventional wisdom of his time. These accounts reflect Musashi's strategic mindset, where success in combat was not solely dependent on adhering to traditional codes of honor. This realistic approach and adaptability distinguished Musashi from his contemporaries and contributed to his legendary status. Musashi's later writings, particularly the Book of Five Rings, provide insight into his philosophy and justify his unconventional tactics. He emphasized understanding the rhythm of the opponent, using deception, and adapting to changing circumstances, principles that often led him to adopt non-traditional methods. In summary, historical accounts and anecdotes about Musashi highlight his use of unconventional tactics that were sometimes at odds with traditional notions of honor, revealing a master tactician committed to the art of victory in its most practical form. As Musashi grew older, his perspective on life and combat began to evolve. The incessant violence of his early years gave way to a deeper search for meaning and understanding. This transition is most evident in his later writings and the development of his philosophical outlook. The Book of Five Rings, written in his later years, is not merely a manual on swordsmanship, but a profound exploration of strategy, self-discipline, and the nature of conflict. It reflects a mature Musashi who had transcended the mere physicality of combat to embrace a holistic approach to life and warfare. This transformation was likely influenced by his interactions with various schools of thought, including Zen Buddhism and Confucianism, which emphasized introspection, moral integrity, and the pursuit of personal development. Musashi's later years were spent in relative seclusion, where he dedicated himself to writing, teaching, and perfecting his martial arts style. Niten Ichiryu, re-evaluating Musashi's legacy, involves acknowledging the duality of his life. The young Musashi was a product of the Sengoku period, a time of social upheaval and constant warfare in Japan, where survival often necessitated ruthless efficiency. His early exploits, marked by violence and cunning, were integral to his development and reputation. While Musashi's early life was indeed characterized by violence and relentless ambition, his later years reflect a profound transformation into a philosopher-warrior. This duality makes Musashi an enduring symbol of the samurai spirit. Musashi's legacy extends far beyond his lifetime. His life and work continue to inspire martial artists, military strategists, and individuals seeking personal development. The Book of Five Rings remains a major text in the study of martial arts and strategy, applied in various fields, from business to sports. Musashi's story has been adapted into numerous books, films, and television series, cementing his status as a cultural icon in Japan and beyond. And with that, we wrap up our deep dive into the legendary warrior Miyamoto Musashi and his unconventional life and fighting style. We hope you enjoyed this video. For a closer look into who initiated the end of the Sengoku period, check out this video.